Sophocles, Antigone. Translated by Ian Johnston. Vancouver Island University. Nanaimo, BC. Canada. This text is a Word 7 and formatted for a booklet, which can be printed on standard quattro paper, 8.5 inches by 11 inches, folded and stapled to form a booklet. To change the format to a standard document on quattro paper, download the text in Word, go to Page Layout, then Margins, then Custom Margins, and change the Multiple Pages box from Book Fold to Normal, and in Orientation from Landscape to Portrait. Note that the printed booklet requires the document to have a page number divisible by 4.
Transitions. Teachers
are free to distribute print or electronic versions of this text to their students, in whole or in part, without permission and without charge. However, all commercial publication of the text in any form without the written permission of the translator is prohibited. For information, contact the translator at ian.johnston@vu.ca.
Translator's Note. Antigone, Translator's Note. This translation by Ian Johnston has certain copyright restrictions. For information, please contact Ian Johnston at ian.johnston@viu.ca. Note that in this translation, the numbers in square brackets refer to the Greek text, and the numbers with no brackets refer to this text. This text was last revised in May 2005. Background note to the story. When Oedipus, king of Thebes, discovered that his own investigations that he had killed his father and married his mother, Jocasta, he put out his own eyes, and Jocasta killed herself. Once Oedipus ceased being a king of Thebes, his two sons, Polynices and Eteocles, agreed to alternate as king. When Eteocles refused to give up power to Polynices, the latter collected a foreign army of Argives and attacked the city. In the ensuing battle, the Thebans triumphed over the invading forces, and the two brothers killed each other, with Eteocles defending the city and Polynices attacking it. The action of the play begins immediately after the battle. Note that Creon is a brother of Jocasta, and thus an uncle of Antigone, Ismene, Eteocles, and Polynices.
Dramatis persona. Antigone, daughter of Oedipus. Ismene, daughter of Oedipus, sister of Antigone. Creon, king of Thebes. Eurydice, wife of Creon. Haemon, son of Creon and Eurydice, engaged to Antigone. Tiresias, an old blind prophet. Boy, a young lad guiding Tiresias. Guard, a soldier serving Creon. Messenger, chorus, Theban elders, attendants.
Antigone. In Thebes, directly in front of the royal palace, which stands in the background, its main door is facing the audience. Enter Antigone, leading Ismene away from the palace. Now, dear Ismene, my own blood sister, do you have any sense of all the trouble Zeus keeps bringing on the two of us as long as we're alive? All that misery which stems from Oedipus? There's no suffering, no shame, no ruin, not one dishonor which I have not seen in all the troubles you and I go through. What's this they're saying now? Something our general has proclaimed throughout the city? Do you know of it? Have you heard? Or have you just missed the news? Dishonors are better fit for our enemies are now being piled up on the ones we love.
I've had no word of it at all, Antigone. Nothing good or bad about our family. Not since we too lost both our brothers, killed on the same day by a double blow. And since the Argive army just last night has gone away, I don't know anymore if I've been lucky or faced total ruin.
I know that. That's why I brought you here, outside the gate, so only you can hear.
What is it? The way you look makes it seem like you thinking of some dark, gloomy news.
Look, what's Creon doing with our two brothers? He's honoring one with a full funeral and treating the other one disgracefully. Eteocles, they say, has had his burial rites according to our ceremony rites, to win him honor with the dead below. But as for Polynices, who perished so miserably, an order has gone out throughout the city, that's what people say. He's to have no funeral or lament, but to be left unburied and unwept, a sweet treasure for birds to look at, for them to feed on to their heart's content. That's what people say that noble Creon has announced to you and me. I mean to me. And now he's coming to explain the fact, to state it clearly to those who have not heard. For Creon, this matter is really serious. Anyone who acts against the order will be stoned to death before the city. Now you know, and you'll quickly demonstrate whether you are nobly born, or else a girl unworthy of her splendid ancestors.
Oh, my poor sister, if that's what's happening, what can I say that would be any help to ease the situation or resolve it?
Think whether you will work with me in this act and act together.
And what kind of work? What do you mean?
Will you help these hands take up Polynices' corpse and bury it?
What? You're going to bury Polynices when there's been made a crime for all our thieves?
Yes. I'll do my duty to my brother, and yours as well if you're not prepared to. I won't be caught betraying him.
You're too rash. Has Creon not expressly banned that act?
Yes, but he's no right to keep me from what's mine.
Oh dear. Think, Antigone. Consider how our father died, hated and disgraced, when those mistakes which his own search revealed forced him to turn his hands against himself and stab out both his eyes. Then, that woman, his mother and his wife, her double role, destroyed her own life in a twisted noose. Then, there's our own two brothers, both butchered in a single day, that ill-fated pair, with their own hands, slaughtered one another and brought about their common doom. Now, the two of us are left here quite alone. Think how we'll die, far worse than all the rest, if we defy the law and move against the king's decree, against his royal power. We must remember that by birth we're women, and as such we shouldn't fight with men. Since those who rule are much more powerful, we must obey in this and in events which brought us even harsher agonies. So I'll ask those underground for pardon. Since I'm being compelled, I will obey those in control. That's what I'm supposed to do. It makes no sense to try and do too much.
I wouldn't urge you to. No. Not even if you were keen to act. Doing this with you would bring me no joy. So be what you want. I'll still bury him. It's a fine way to die while doing that. I'll lie there with him, with a man I love, pure and innocent for all my crime. My honors for the dead must last much longer than for those up here. I'll lie down there forever. As for you, well, if you wish, you can show contempt for the laws of the gods all hold in honor.
I'm not disrespecting them, but I can't act against the state. That's not in my nature.
Let that be your excuse. I'm going now to make a burial mound for my dear brother.
Oh, poor Antigone. I'm so afraid for you.
Don't fear for me. Set your own fate in order.
Make sure you don't reveal to anyone what you intend. Keep it closely hidden. I'll do the same.
No. Announce the fact. If you don't let everybody know, I'll despise your silence even more.
Your heart is hot to do cold deeds.
But I know I'll please the ones I'm duty-bound to please.
Yes, if you can. But you're after something which you're incapable of carrying out.
Well, when my strength is gone, then I'll give up.
A vain attempt should not be made at all.
I'll hate you if you're going to talk that way, and you'll rightly earn the loathing of the dead. So leave me and my foolishness alone. We'll get through this fearful thing. I won't suffer anything as bad as this graceful death.
All right then, go. If that's what you think is right. But remember this, even though your mission makes no sense, your friends do truly love you.
Exit Antigone away from the palace. Ismene watches her go, and then turns slowly into the palace. Enter the chorus of Theban elders.
O ray of sunlight, most beautiful that ever shone on Thebes, city of the seven gates, you've appeared at last. you glowing eye of golden day, moving above the streams of Dursey, driving into headlong flight the white-shield warrior from Argos, who marched here fully armed. Now, forced back by your sharper power.
Against our land he marched, sent here by the warring claims of Polynesius, with piercing screams and eagle flying above our land, covered wings as white as snow, and hordes of warriors in arms, helmets topped with horsehair crests.
Standing above our homes, he ranged around our 7 gates, with threats to swallow us, and spears thirsty to kill. Before his jaws had had their fill, and gorged themselves on Theban blood, before Hephaestus pine-toast flames had seized our towns, our fortress crown, he went back, driven in retreat. Behind him rings the din of war, his enemy, the Theban dragging snake, too difficult for him to overcome. Zeus hates an arrogant, boasting tongue. Seeing them march here in a mighty stream, in all their clanging golden pride, he hurled his fire and struck the man up there, on our battlements, as he began to scream aloud his victory. The man swung down, torch still in hand, and smashed into unyielding earth, the one who not so long ago attacked, who launched his ferocious, enraged assault to blast us, breathing raging storms. But things turned out not as he hoped. Great war god Ares assisted us. He smashed them down and doomed them all to a very different fate.
7 captains at 7 gates, matched against 7 equal warriors, paid Zeus their full-blown tribute, the god who turns the battle tide, all but that pair of wretched men, born of one father and one mother too, who set their conquering spears against each other, and then both shared a common death. Now victory with her glorious name has come, bringing joy to well-armed Thebes. The battle's done, but striving out to forget the songs and dancing all night long, with bagpipes leading us to make Thebes safe.
The palace doors are thrown open and guards appear at the doors.
But here comes Creon, new king of our land, son of Monicius, thanks to the gods who've brought about our new good fortune. What plan of action does he have in mind? What made him hold this special meeting with elders summoned by a general call?
Enter Creon from the palace. He addresses the assembled elders.
Men, after much tossing of our ship of state, the gods have safely set things right again. I've also decided to summon you, because I know how well you show respect for the eternal power of the throne. First with Laius and again with Oedipus, once he restored our city. When he died, you stood by his children, firm in loyalty. Now his sons have perished in a single day, killing each other with their own 2 hands, double slaughter stained with brother's blood. And so I have the throne of all royal power, for I'm the one most closely linked by blood and those who have been killed. It's impossible to really know a man, to know his soul, his mind and will, before one witnesses his skill in governing and making laws. For me, a man who rules the entire state and does not take the best advice there is, but through fear keeps his mouth forever shut, such a man is the very worst of men, and always will be. And a man who thinks more highly of a friend than his country, well, he means nothing to me. Let Zeus know, the god who always watches everything. I would not stay silent if I saw a disaster moving here against the citizens, a threat to their security. For anyone who acts against the state, its enemy, I'd never make my friend. For I know well, our country is a ship once keeps us safe, and only when it serves its proper purpose do we make friends. These are the principles I'll use in order to protect our state. That's why I've announced to all citizens my order for the sons of Oedipus. Oedipus, who perished on the fight to save our city, and best and bravest of our spearmen, will have his burial with all the purifying rituals which accompany the murderous corpses as they move below. As for his brother, that Polynesius, who returned from exile, eager to wipe out in all-consuming fire his ancestral city and its native gods, keen to seize upon the family's blood and leave men into slavery, for him, the proclamation of the state declares, he'll have no burial mound, no funeral rites, and no lament. He'll be left unburied, his body there for the birds and dogs to eat, a clear reminder of his shameful fate. That's my decision, for I'll never act to respect an evil man with honors in preference to a man who's acted well. Anyone who's well disposed towards our state, alive or dead, that man I will respect. Son of Mauritius, that's your will. For this city's friends and enemies, it seems to me that you now have control of all laws concerning those who've died as well as the ones who are still living. See to it then, and act as guardians of what's been proclaimed. Give that test to the younger men to deal with. There the remaining assigned to oversee the cause. Then what remains that you would have us do? Don't yield to those who contravene my orders. No one is such a fool that he loves death. Yes, that will be his full reward indeed, and yet men have often been destroyed because they hope to profit in some way.
Enter a guard coming towards the palace. My lord, I can't say I've come without breath by running here, making my feet move fast. Many times I stop to think things over, and then I turn around to retrace my steps. My mind was saying many things to me. You fool, why go to where you know for sure your punishment awaits? And now, poor man, why are you hesitating yet again? If Creon finds this out from someone else, how will you escape being hurt? Such matters kept my mind preoccupied, and so I went, slowly and reluctantly, and thus made a short road turn into a lengthy one. But then the view that I should come to you won out. If what I have to say is nothing, I'll say it nonetheless. For I've come here clinging to the hope that I'll not suffer anything that's not part of my destiny.
What's happened that made you so upset?
I want to tell you first about myself. I did not do it, and I didn't see the one who did, so it would be unjust if I should come to grief.
You had so much. Clearly you have news of something ominous.
Yes, strange things that make me pause a lot.
Why not say it and go? Just leave.
All right, I'll tell you. It's about the corpse.
Someone has buried it and disappeared, after spreading thirsty dust onto the flesh and undertaking all appropriate rites.
What are you saying? What man would dare this?
I don't know. There's no sign of digging, no marks of any pickaxe or mattock. The ground was dry and hard and very smooth, without a wheel track. Whoever did it left no trace. When the first man on day watch revealed it to us, we were amazed. The corpse was hidden, but not in a tomb. It was lightly covered up with dirt, as if someone wanted to avert a curse. There was no trace of a wild animal or dogs who come to rip the corpse apart. Then the words flew round all among us all, with every guard accusing someone else. We were about to fight, to come to blows. No one was there to put a stop to it. Everyone was responsible, but none of us was clearly in the wrong. In our defense, we pleaded ignorance. Then we each stated we were quite prepared to prick up red-hot iron, walk through flames, or swear by all the gods that we hadn't done it. We'd no idea how the act was planned, or how it had been carried out. At last, when all our searching had proved useless, one man spoke up, and his words forced us all to drop our faces to the ground in fear. He said, "We must report this act to you. We must not hide it." And his view prevailed. I was the unlucky man who won the prize, the luck of the draw. That's why I'm here now, not of my own free will or by your choice. I know that, for no one likes a messenger who comes bearing unwelcome news with him.
My lord, I've been wondering for some time now. Could this act not be something from the gods? Stop now, before what you're about to say enrages me completely and reveals that you're not only old, but stupid too. No one can tolerate what you've just said. When you claim gods might care about this cause, would they pay extraordinary honors and bury a man who'd served them well? Someone who came to burn their offerings from pillar temples to torch their minds and scatter its laws? Or do you see gods paying respect to evil men? No. For quite a while, some people in the town have secretly been muttering against me. They don't agree with what I have declared. They shake their heads and have not tapped their necks under my yoke, as they are duty-bound to do, if they were men who are content with me. I will know that these gods were led astray. Such men urged them to carry out this act for money, to foster evil actions, to make them commonplace among men. Nothing is as powerful as money. It destroys cities, driving men from homes. Money trains and twists the minds of worthy men, so they are then undertake disgraceful acts. Money teaches men to live as scoundrels, familiar with every profane enterprise, But those who carry out such acts to pass, sooner than later, see how further plans they take upon. For if great Zeus still has my respect, then understand this. I swear to you on earth, unless you find the one whose hands really buried him, unless you bring him here before my eyes, then death for you will not be enough. No, not before you're hung up still alive, and you confess to this gross violent act. That way you'll understand in future days, when there's a profit to be gained from death, you'll learn that it's not good to be in love with every kind of monetary gain. You'll know more men are ruined than saved when they earn profits from dishonest sins.
Do I have your permission to speak now, or do I just turn around and go away?
But if I find your voice so irritating, don't you realize it?
Where does it hurt? In your ears or in your mind?
Why try to question where I feel my pain?
The man who did it, he upsets your mind. I defend your ears.
My mind. It's clear to see. It's natural for you to shatter on.
Perhaps, but I never did this.
This and more. You sold your life for silver.
How strange and sad when the one who sorts this out gets it all wrong.
Well, enjoy your sophisticated views. But if you don't reveal to me who did this, you'll just confirm how much your treasonous gains have made you suffer.
Exit Creon back into the palace. The door is closed behind him. Well, I hope he's found. That would be best. But whether caught or not, and that's something sheer chance will bring about, you won't see me coming here again. This time, against all hope and expectations, I am still unhurt. I owe the gods great thanks. Exit the guard away from the palace.
There are so many strange and wonderful things, but nothing more strangely wonderful than man. He moves across the white-capped ocean seas, blasted by winter storms, carving his way under the surging waves, engulfing you. With his team of horses, he wears down the unwearied and immortal earth, the oldest of the gods harassing him. As year by year, his plows move back and forth. He snares the light-winged flocks of birds, herds of beasts, creatures from deep seas, trapped in the fine mess of his hunting nest. O resourceful man, whose skill can overcome ferocious beasts roaming mountain heights. He curbs the rough-haired horses with his bit and tames the inexhaustible mountain bulls, setting their savage necks beneath his yoke. He taught himself speech and wind-swift thought, trained for his feelings for clinical civic life, learning to escape the after shafts of frost, volleys of pelting rain and winter storms, the harsh life lived under the open sky.
That's man, so resourceful in all he does. There's no event his skill cannot confront other than death. That alone he cannot shun, although for many baffling sicknesses he has discovered his own remedies. The qualities of his inventive skills bring oats beyond his dreams and lead him on, sometimes to evil and sometimes to good. If he treats his country's laws with due respect and honors justice by swearing on the gods, he wins high honors in his city. But when he grows bold and turns to evil, then he has no city. A man like that, let him not share my home or know my mind.
Enter the guard, bringing Antigone with him. She is not resisting.
What is this? I fear some omen from the gods. I can't deny what I see here so clearly. That young girl there, it's Antigone. Oh, you poor girl, daughter of Oedipus, child of such a father so unfortunate. What's going on? Surely they've not brought you here because you disobeyed the royal laws, because they've caught you acting foolishly.
This here is the one who carried out the act. We caught her as she was burying the corpse. Where's Creon? The palace door is open. Enter Creon with attendants.
He's coming from the house, and just in time. Why have I come just in time? What's happened? What is it?
My lord, human beings should never take an oath there's something that they'll not do, for later thoughts contradict what they first meant. I'd have sworn I'd not soon venture here again.
Back then, the threats you made brought me a lot of grief. But there's no joy as great as what we pray for against all hope. And so I have come back, breaking the oath I swore. I bring this girl captured while she was honoring the grave. This time, we did not draw lots. No. This time, I was the lucky man, not someone else. And now, my lord, take her for questioning. Convict her. Do as you wish. As for me, by rights, I'm free and clear of all of this trouble.
This girl here, how did you catch her? And where?
She was burying that man. Now, you know all there is to know.
Do you understand just what you're saying? Are your words the truth?
We saw this girl giving that dead man's corpse full burial rites, an act you'd made illegal. Is what I say simple and clear enough?
How did you catch her? Catch her in the act?
It happened this way. When we got there, after hearing those awful threats from you, we swept off all the dust covering the corpse, so the damp body was completely bare. Then we sat on the rising ground upwind to escape the body's putrid, rotting stench. We traded insults just to stay awake, in case someone was careless on the job. That's how we spent the night, right up till noon, when the sun's bright circle in the sky had moved halfway, and it was burning hot. Then suddenly a swirling windstorm came, whipping clouds of dust up from the ground, filling the plain, some heaven-sent trouble. In that level place, the dirt storm damaged all the forest growth, and the air around was filled with dust for miles. We shut our mouths and just endured this scourge sent from the gods. A long time passed. The storm came to an end. That's when we saw the girl. She was shrieking, a distressing, painful cry, just like a bird who's seen an empty nest, its fledglings gone. That's how she was when she saw the naked corpse. She screamed out a lament, and then she swore, calling evil curses down upon the ones who'd done this. Then right away her hands threw on the thirsty dust. She lifted up a finely made bronze jug and then 3 times poured out her tributes to the dead. When we saw that, we rushed up right away and grabbed her. She was not afraid at all. We charged her with her previous offense as well as this one. She just kept standing there, denying nothing. That made me happy, though it was painful too. For it's a joy escaping troubles which affect oneself, but painful to bring on one's friends. But all of that is of less concern to me than my own safety.
You there, you with your face bent down towards the ground. What do you say? Do you deny you did this, or do you admit it?
I admit it. I did it. I won't deny that.
You're dismissed. Go where you want. You're free. No serious charges made against you.
Exit the guard. Creon turns to interrogate Antigone.
Tell me briefly, not in some lengthy speech. Were you aware there was a proclamation forbidding what you just did?
I'd heard of it. How could I not? It was public knowledge.
And yet you dared to break those very laws.
Yes. Zeus did not announce those laws to me, and justice living with the gods below sent no such laws for men. I did not think anything which you proclaimed strong enough to let a mortal override the gods and their unwritten and unchanging laws. They're not just for today or yesterday, but exist forever, and no one knows where they first appeared. So I did not mean to let a fear of any human will lead to my punishment among the gods. I know all too well I'm going to die. How could I not? It makes no difference what you decree, and if I have to die before my time, well, I count that a gain. When someone has to live the way I do, surrounded by so many evil things, how can she fail to benefit in death? And so for me, meeting this fate won't bring any pain, but if I had allowed my own mother's dead son to just lie there, an unburied corpse, then I'd feel distress.
What's going on here does not hurt me at all. If you think what I'm doing now is stupid, perhaps I'm being charged with foolishness by someone who's a fool.
It's clear enough the spirit in this girl is passionate. Her father was the same. She has no sense of compromise in times of trouble. But you should know the most obdurate wills are those most prone to break. The strongest iron tempered in the fire to make it really hard, that's the kind you see most often shattered. I'm well aware the most tempestuous horses are tamed by one small bit. Pride has no place in anyone who is his neighbor's slave. This girl here was already very insolent in contravening the laws we had proclaimed. Here she again displays her proud contempt. Having done the act, she now boasts of it. She laughs at what she's
what she's done. Well, in this case, if she gets her way and goes unpunished, then she's the man here, not me. No. She may be my sister's child, closer to me by blood than anyone belonging to my house who worships Zeus Hercules in my home, but she'll not escape my harshest punishment. Her sister, too, whom I accuse as well, she had an equal part in all their plans to do this burial. Go summon her here. I saw her just now inside the palace, her mind out of control, some kind of fit.
Exit attendants into the palace to fetch Ismene.
When people hatch their mischief in the dark, their minds often convict them in advance, betraying their treachery. How I despise a person caught committing evil acts, who then desires to glorify the crime.
Take me and kill me. What more do you want?
Me? Nothing. With that, I had everything.
Then why delay? There's nothing in your words that I enjoy. May that also be the case. And what I say displeases you as much. But where could I gain greater glory than setting my own brother in his grave? All those here would confirm this pleases them if their lips weren't sealed by fear. Being king, which offers all sorts of various benefits, means you can talk and act just as you wish.
In all of Thebes, you're the only one who looks at things that way.
They share my views, but they keep their mouths shut for you.
These views of yours, so different from the rest, don't they bring you any sense of shame?
No, there's nothing shameful in honoring my mother's children.
You had a brother killed fighting for the other side.
Yes, from the same mother and father too.
Why then give tributes which insult his name?
But his dead corpse won't back up what you said.
Yes, he will, if you give equal honors to a wicked man.
But the one who died was not some slave. It was his own brother.
Who was destroying this land, the other one who went to his death defending it.
That may be, but Hades still desires equal rights for both.
A good man does not wish what we give him to be the same an evil man receives.
Who knows? In the world below, perhaps such actions are no crime.
An enemy can never be a friend, not even in death.
But my nature is to love. I cannot hate.
Then go down to the dead. If you must love, love them. No woman's going to govern me. No, no. Not while I'm still alive.
Enter 2 attendants from the house, bringing Ismene to Creon.
Ismene's coming. There, right by the door. She's crying. How she must love her sister. From her forehead a cloud casts its shadow down across her darkly flushing face, and drops its rain onto her lovely cheeks. You there, you snake lurking in my house, sucking out my life's blood so secretly. I had no idea I was nursing 2 pests, who aimed to rise against my throne. Come here, tell me this. Do you admit you played your part in this burial, or will you swear an oath you had no knowledge of it?
I did it.
I admit it, and she'll back me up. So I bear the guilt as well.
No, no. Justice will not allow you to say that. You didn't want to. I didn't work with you.
But now you're in trouble. I'm not ashamed of suffering too, as I'm your companion.
Hades and the dead can say who did it. I don't love a friend whose only words, love is only words.
You're my sister. Don't dishonor me. Let me respect the dead and die with you.
Don't try to share my death or make a claim to actions which you did not do. I'll die, that will be enough.
But if you're gone, what is there in life for me to love?
Ask Creon. He is the one who cares about you.
Why hurt me like this? It doesn't help you.
If I'm mocking you, it pains me too.
Even now, is there some way I can help?
Save yourself. I won't envy your escape.
I feel so wretched leaving you to die.
But you chose life. It was my choice to die.
But not before I said those words just now.
Some people may approve of how you think. Some others will believe my judgment is good.
But the mistake's the same for both of us.
Be brave. You're alive. But my spirit died some time ago, so I might help the dead.
I'd say one of these girls has just revealed how mad she is. The others been that way since she was born. My lord, whatever good sense people have by birth no longer stays with them once their lives go wrong and abandons them. In your case, that's true. Once you made your choice to act in evil ways with wicked people. How could I live alone without her here? Don't speak of her being here. Her life is over. You're going to kill your own son's bride? Why not? There are other fields for him to plow. No one will make him a more loving wife than she will. I have no desire my son should have an evil wife.
Dear Haman, how your father wrongs you.
I've had enough of this, you and your marriage. You really want that? You're going to take her from him? No, not me. Hades is the one who will stop the marriage.
So she must die. That seems decided on.
Yes, for you and me, the matter's closed.
Creon turns to address his
No more delay. You slaves, take them inside. From this point on, they must act like women and have no liberty to wander off. Even bold men run when they see Hades coming close to snatch them from their lives.
The attendants take Antigone and Ismene into the palace, leaving Creon in the chorus on stage. Those who live without tasting evil have happy lives, for when the god shakes a house to its foundations, the inevitable disasters strike, falling upon those families, just as surging oceans swell, running before cruel Phaeacian winds, across the dark trenches of the sea, churns up the deep black sand and crashes headlong on the cliffs, which scream in pain against the wind. I see this house's age-old sorrows, and the house of Labdoca's children's sorrows fall on the sorrows of the dead, one generation bringing no relief to generations after it. Some god strikes at them, on and on without an end. For now the light which has been shining over the last roofs of Oedipus' house, it has been cut down with a bloody knife, belonging to the gods below, for foolish talk and frenzy in the soul. O Zeus, what human trespasses can check your power? Even sleep, that casts its nets on everything, cannot master that, nor can the months, the tireless months the gods control. The sovereign who cannot behold. You hold Olympus as your own, and its all glittering magnificence. From now on into all future time, as in the past, your law holds firm. It never enters lives of human beings in its full force without disaster. Hope raging far and wide brings comfort to many men. But then hope can deceive, delusions born of volatile desire. It comes upon the man who's ignorant until his foot is seared in burning fire. Someone's wisdom has revealed to us this famous saying. Sometimes the gods lure a man on forward to disaster, and he thinks the evil something good.
But then he lives in only the briefest time, free from catastrophe.
The palace doors open.
Here comes Haman, your only living son. Is he grieving the fate of Antigone or his bride? Bitter that his marriage hopes are gone. We'll soon find out, more accurately than any prophet here can indicate.
Enter Haman from the palace.
My son, have you heard the sentence that's been passed upon your bride? And have you now come here angry at your father? Or are you loyal to me, on my side no matter what I do?
Father, I'm yours. For me, your judgments and the ways you act on them are good. I shall follow them. I'll not consider any marriage a greater benefit than your fine leadership.
Indeed, my son, that's how your heart should always be resolved, to stand behind your father's judgment on every issue. That's what men pray for. Obedient children growing up at home who will pay back their father's enemies evil to them for evil done to him, while honoring his friends as much as he does. A man who fathers useless children, what can one say of him except he's bred troubles for himself and wants to laugh at for those who fight against him? So, my son, don't ever throw good things aside for pleasure, for some woman's sake. You understand how such embraces can turn freezing cold when an evil woman shares your life at home. What greater wound is there than a false friend? So, spit this girl out. She's your enemy. Let her marry someone else in Hades. Since I caught her clearly disobeying the only comfort in the entire city, I won't perjure myself before the state. No, I'll kill her. And so let her appeal to Zeus, the god of blood relationships. If I foster any lack of full respect in my own family, I surely do the same with those who are not linked to me by blood. The man who acts with his own household will be found a just man in the city. I trust such a man to govern wisely, and to be content with someone ruling him. And in the thick of battle at his post, he'll stand from beside his fellow soldier, a loyal, brave man. But anyone who's proud and violates our laws, or thinks he'll tell our leaders what to do, a man like that means no praise for me. No, we must obey whatever man the city puts in charge, no matter what the issue, great or small, just or unjust. For there's no greater evil than a lack of leadership. That destroys whole cities, turns households into ruins, and in war makes soldiers break and run away. When men succeed, they keep their lives secure. In almost every case, as their obedience. That's why they must support those in control, and never let some woman beat us down. If we must fall for power, let that come from some man's hand. At least then we won't be called inferior to any woman. Unless we're being deceived by our old age, what you've just said seems reasonable to us.
Father, the gods instill good sense in men, the greatest of all things which we possess. I could not find your word somehow not right. I hope that's something I never learned to do. But other words might be good as well. Because of who you are, you can't receive all the things men say or do, or their complaints. Your gaze makes citizens afraid. They can't say anything you would not like to hear. But in the darkness, I can hear them talk. The city is upset about the girl. They say that of all women here, she least deserves the worst of deaths for her most glorious act. When in the slaughter her own brother died, she did not just leave him there unburied, to be ripped apart by carrion dogs or birds. Surely she deserves some golden honor? That's the dark secret rumors people speak. For me, Father, nothing is more valuable than your well-being. For any children, what could be a greater honor to them than their father's thriving reputation? A father feels the same about his sons. So don't let your mind dwell on just one thought, that what you say is right and nothing else. A man who thinks that only he is wise, that he can speak and think like no one else, when such men are exposed, then all men can see their emptiness inside. For any man, even if he's wise, there's nothing shameful in learning many things, staying flexible. You'll notice how in winter floods, the trees which bend before the storm preserve their twigs. The ones who stand against it are destroyed. Root and branch. In the same way, those sailors who keep their sails stretched tight, never easing off, make their ship capsize, and from that point on sail with their rowing benches all submerged. So in your anger, permit yourself to change. For if I, as a younger man, may state my views, I'd say it would be for the best if men by nature understood all things. If not, and that is usually the case, when men speak well, it is good to learn from them.
My lord, if what he said is relevant, it seems appropriate to learn from him, and you too, Henry, listen to the king. The things which you both said were excellent. And in my age, are we then to go to school to learn from what's wise from men as young as him?
There's nothing wrong in that. And if I'm young, don't think about my age. Look at what I do.
And what you do, does that include this, honoring those who act against our laws?
I would not encourage anyone to show respect to evil men.
And her, is she not suffering from the same disease?
The people here in Thebes all say the same thing. They deny she is.
So the city now will instruct me how I am to govern.
Now you're talking like someone far too young, don't you see that?
Am I to rule this land at someone else's whim or by myself?
A city which belongs to just one man is no true city.
According to our laws, does not the ruler own the city?
By yourself you'd make an excellent king, but in a desert.
It seems as if this boy is fighting on the woman's side.
That's true, if you're the woman. I'm concerned for you.
You're the worst, Barrett. You set your judgment up against your father.
No, not when I see you making a mistake and being unjust.
Is it a mistake to honor my own rule?
You're not honoring that by trampling on the gods' prerogatives.
You foul creature. You're worse than any woman.
You'll not catch me giving way to some disgrace.
But your words all speak on her behalf.
And yours and mine, and for the gods below.
You woman slave. Don't try to win me over.
What do you want? To speak and never hear someone reply?
You'll never marry her while she's alive.
Then she'll die, and in her death kill someone else.
Are you so insolent you threaten me?
Where's the threat in challenging a bad decree?
You'll regret parading what you think like this. You, a person with an empty brain.
If you were not my father, I might say that you were not thinking straight.
Would you indeed? Well then, by Olympus, I'll have you know you'll be sorry for dealing me with these insults.
Creon turns to his attendants.
Go, bring her out, that hateful creature, so she can die right here, with him present, before her bridegroom's eyes.
No, don't ever hope for that. She'll not die with me just standing there. and as for you, your eyes will never see my face again. So let your rage charge on among your friends who want to stand by you in this. Exit Haman, running back into the palace.
My lord, Haman left in such a hurry. He's angry, and the young man at his age, the mind turns bitter when he feels hurt. Let him dream up or carry out great deeds beyond the power of man. He'll not save these girls. Their fate is sealed. Are you going to kill them both? No, not the one whose hands are clean. You're right. How do you plan to kill Antigone? I'll take her on a path no people use, and hide her in a cavern in the rocks while still alive. I'll set out our provisions as much as piety requires to make sure the city is not totally corrupted. Then she can speak her prayers to Hades, the only god she worships. For such, avoiding death or at least she'll learn, although too late, how it's a waste of time to honor those whom Hades holds. O Ares, the conqueror in every fight, Ares, who squanders all men's wealth, who sleeps at night on girls' soft cheeks, and roams across the ocean seas, and through the sepulchre. No immortal god escapes from you, nor any man who lives but for a day, and the one whom you possess goes mad. Even in good men, you twist their minds, provoking them to your own ruin. You provoke these men to family strife. The bride's desire seem only glittering in her eyes. That conquers everything. Its power in the throne decides eternal laws. For there the goddess Aphrodite reigns her will, whose ways are irresistible.
Antigone enters from the palace with attendants who are taking her away to her execution.
When I look at her, I forget my place. I lose restraint and can't hold back my tears. Antigone going to a bridal room where all are laid to rest in death?
Look at me, my native citizens, as I go on my final journey, as I gaze upon the sunlight one last time, which I'll never see again, for Hades, who brings all people to their final sleep, leads me on, while I'm still living down to the shores of Acheron. I've not yet had my bridal chant, nor has any wedding song been sung, for my marriage is to Acheron.
Surely you carry fame with you and praise, as you move to the deep home of the dead. You were not stricken by lethal disease, or paid your wages with the sword. No, you were charged of your own fate. So, of all living human beings, you alone went your way down to Hades, still alive.
I've heard about a guest of ours, daughter of Tantalus from Phrygia. She went to an excruciating death in Sipylus, right on the mountain peak. The stone there, just like clinging ivy, wore her down, and now, so people say, the snow and rain never leave her there, as she laments. Below her weeping eyes, her neck is wet with tears. God brings me to a final rest which most resembles hers.
But Nera was a goddess, bone divine, and we are human beings, a race which dies. But still it's a fine thing for a woman, once she's dead, to have it said she shared, in life and death, the fight of demigods.
Oh, you are mocking me. Why me? By your father's gods, why do you all, my own city and the richest men of Thebes, insult me right now to my face, without waiting for my death? Well, at least I have Dirce's springs, the holy grounds of Thebes, a city full of splendid chariots, to witness how no friends lament for me as I move on. You see the laws which led me to my rock-bound prison, a tomb made just for me? Alas, in my wretchedness I have no home, not with human beings or corpses, not with the living or the dead.
You pushed your daring to the limit, my child, and tripped against justice's high altar. Perhaps your agonies are paying back some compensation for your father.
Now there you touch on the most painful thought, my father's destiny, always on my mind along with that whole fate that sticks to us, the splendid house of Labdacos, the curse arising from a mother's marriage bed when she had sex with her own son, my father. From what kind of parents was I born, their wretched daughter? I go to them, unmarried and accursed, an outcast. Alas, too, for my brother Polynices, who made a fatal marriage and then died, and with that death killed me while still alive.
To be piously devout shows reverence, but powerful men who in their persons incorporate authority cannot bear anyone to break their rules. Hence, you die because of your own selfish will.
Without lament, without a friend, and with no marriage song, I'm being led in this miserable state along my final road. So wretched that I no longer have the right to look upon the sun, that sacred eye, but my fate prompts no tears, and no friend mourns.
Don't you know when no one faced with death would ever stop the singing and the groans? If thou wilt help, take her and shut her up, as I have ordered in her tomb's embrace, and get it done as quickly as you can. Then leave her alone, all by herself. She can sort out whether she wants suicide or remains alive, buried in a place like that. As far as she's concerned, we bear no guilt, but she's lost her place living here with us.
Oh, my tomb and bridal chamber, my eternal hollow dwelling place, where I go to join my people. Most of them have perished. Persephone has welcomed them among the dead. I'm the last one lying here, the most painful, evil death by far, as I move down before the time allotted for my life is done. But I go nourishing the vital hope my father will be pleased to see me come, and you too, my mother, will welcome me, as well as you, my own dear brother. When you died, with my own hands I washed you. I arranged your corpse and at the grave mound poured out libations. But now, Polynices, this is my reward for covering your corpse.
However, for wise people, I was right to honor you. I'd never have done it. For children of my own, not as their mother, nor for a dead husband lying in decay. No, not in defiance of the citizens. What law do I appeal to claiming this? If my husband died, there'd be another one. If I were to lose a child of mine, I'd have another one with some man. But since my father and my mother, too, are hidden away in Hades' house, I'll never have another living brother. That was the law I used to honor you. But Creon thought I was in the wrong and acting recklessly for you, my brother. Now he seizes me by force and leads me here. No wedding and no burial song. No share in married life or raising children. Instead, I go in sorrow to my grave without my friends to die while still alive. What holy justice have I violated? In my wretchedness, why should I look up to the gods? Which one can I invoke to bring me help when for my reverence they charge me with impiety? Well, then, if this is something fine among the gods, I'll come to recognize that I've done wrong. But if these people here are being unjust, may they endure no greater punishment than the injustices they've done to me.
The same storm blasts continued to attack, demanding this young girl. Then, those escorting her will be sorry they're so slow.
Alas, then, those words mean death is very near at hand.
I won't encourage you or cheer you up by saying the sentence won't be carried out.
O city of my fathers in this land of Thebes, and my ancestral gods, I am being led away. No more delaying for me. Look on me, you lords of Thebes, the last survivor of your royal house. See what I have to undergo, what kind of men who do this to me, for paying reverence to true piety. Antigone is led away under escort.
In her brass-brown room, fair Danae as well, endured her separation from the heaven's light, a prisoner hidden in the chamber like a tomb, although she too came from a noble line, and she, my child, had in her care the liquid streaming gold seed of Zeus. But the power of fate is a full mystery. There's no evading it, no, not with wealth or woe or walls or black sea-beating ships. And the hot-tempered child of Dreius, king in the Edonians, was put in prison, closed up in the rocks by Dionysus, for his angry mocking of the god. There the dreadful flower of his rage slowly withered, and he came to know the god who in his frenzy he had mocked with his own tongue. For he had tried to hold in check women in that frenzy inspired by the god, the Bacchanal fire. More than that, he made the muses angry, challenging the gods who loved the flute. Besides the black rocks where the twin seas meet, by Thracian Salmodius, at the Bosphorus, close to the place where Ares dwells, the war god witnessed the unholy wounds whence blinded the two sons of Pinus, inflicted by his savage wife. The sightless holes cried out for someone to avenge those blows, made with her sharpened comb in blood-stained hands. In their misery they wept, lamenting their wretched suffering, sons of a mother whose marriage had gone wrong, and yet she was an offspring of the ancient family, the race of Eurytus, raised far away in caves surrounded by her father's wings. Brewer's child, a girl who raced with horses across steep hills, child of the gods, but she too, my child, suffered much from the immortal fates.
Enter Tiresias, led by a young boy. Lords of Thebes, We two have walked a common path, one person's vision serving both of us. The blind require a guide to find their way.
What news do you have, old Tiresias?
I'll tell you, and you obey the prophet.
I've not rejected your advice before.
That's the reason why you've steered the city on its proper course.
From my experience, I can confirm the help you give.
Then know this, your luck is once more on fate's razor edge.
What? What you've just said makes me nervous.
You'll know once you hear the tokens of my art. As I was sitting in my ancient place, receiving omens from the flights of birds, who all come there where I hear them, I note among these birds an unknown cry, evil, unintelligible, angry screaming. I knew that they were tearing at each other with murderous claws. The noisy wings revealed that all too well. I was afraid, so right away up on the blazing altar I set up burnt offerings. But Hephaestus failed to shine out from the sacrifice. Dark slime poured onto the embers, oozing from the thighs, which smoked and spat. Bile was sprayed high up into the air, and the melting thighs lost all the fat which they'd been wrapped in. The rites had failed. There was no prophecy revealed in them. I learned that from this boy, who is my guide as I guide other men. Our state is sick. Your policies have done this. In the city, our altars and our hearths have been defiled, all of them with rotting flesh brought there by birds and dogs from Oedipus' son, who lies there miserably dead. The gods no longer will accept our sacrifice, our prayers, our thigh bones burned in fire. No bird will shriek out a clear sign to us, for they have been gorged themselves on fat and blood from a man who's dead. Consider this, my son. All men make mistakes. That's not uncommon. But when they do, they're no longer foolish or subject to bad luck if they try to fix the evil into which they've fallen, once they give up their transgression. Men who put their stubbornness on show invite accusations of stupidity. Make concessions to the dead. Don't ever stab a man who's just been killed. What's the glory in killing a dead person one more time? I've been more concerned for you. It's a good advice. Learning can be pleasant when a man speaks well, especially when he seeks your benefit.
Oh man, you're all like archers shooting at me. For you all I've known now become your target. Even prophets have been aiming at me. I've long been bought and sold as merchandise among that tribe. Well, go, make your profits. If that's what you want, then trade with Sardis for the gold and silver aloe. Or for gold from India. But you'll never hide that coaxing in your egg. Even if Zeus's eagle should choose to seize up his festering body and take it up, right to the throne of Zeus, not even then would I, in trembling fear of some defilement, permit that corpse a burial. For I know well that no man has the power to pollute the gods. But, old Tiresias, among human beings the wisest suffer a disgraceful fall, when, to promote themselves, they use fine words to spread around abusive insults.
Alas, does any man know or think about
how
what? Good advice
what
is
sort
valuable,
of piety common
worth more
are you about
than
to
all
order?
possessions?
I think that's true. As much as foolishness is what harms us most.
Yes, that's the sickness now infecting you.
I have no desire to denigrate a prophet when I speak.
But that's what you are doing when you claim my oracles are false.
The tribes of prophets, all of them, are fond of money.
And kings, their tribes love to benefit dishonestly.
You know you're speaking to a man who rules you.
I know. Thanks to me, you saved the city and are now in control.
You're a wise prophet, but you love doing wrong.
You will force me to speak of secrets locked inside my heart.
Do it. Just don't speak to benefit yourself.
I do not think that I'll be doing that, not as far as you're concerned.
You can be sure you won't change my mind and make yourself more rich.
Then understand this well. You will not see the sun race through its cycle many times before you lose a child of your own loins, a corpse in payment for these corpses you've thrown down to those below someone from up above. In your arrogance, you've moved a living soul into a grave, leaving here a body owned by gods below, unburied, dispossessed, unsanctified. That's no concern of yours or gods above. In this you violate the ones below, and so destroying avengers wait for you, furies of Hades and the gods, who will see you caught up in this very wickedness. Now see if I speak as someone who's been bribed. It won't be long before in your own house the men and women all cry out in sorrow, and cities rise in hate against you. All those who mangled soldiers have had their burial rites, from dogs, wild animals, or flying birds who carry the unholy stench back home to every city hearth. Like an archer, I shoot these arrows now into your heart because you have provoked me. I'm angry, so my aim is good. You'll not escape their pain. boy leadeth home so he can vent his rage on younger men and keep a quieter tongue and a more temperate mind than he has now. Exit Tiresias, led by the young boy.
My lord, such dreadful prophecies, and now he's gone. Since my hair changed color from black to white, I know here in the city he's never uttered such a false prophecy. I know that too, and it disturbs my mind. It's dreadful to give way, but to resist and let destruction hammer down my spirit, that's a fearful option too. Son of Monarchies, you need to listen to some good advice. Tell me what to do. Speak up, I'll do it. Go and release the girl from her rock tomb, then prepare a grave for that unburied corpse. This is your advice? You think I should concede? Yes, my lord, as fast as possible. Swift-footed injuries sent from the guard, hack down those who act imprudently. Alas, it's difficult, but I'll give up. I'll not do what I'd set my heart upon. It's not right to fight against necessity. Go now and get this done. Don't give the work to other men to do. I'll go just as I am. Come, you soldiers, each and every one of you. Come on, bring axes with you. Go there quickly, up to the higher ground. I've changed my mind. Since I'm the one who tied her up, I'll go and set her free myself. Now, I'm afraid, until one dies, the best thing will maybe to follow our established laws.
Creon and his attendants hurry off stage.
O you with many names, you glory of the Theban bride, and child of thundering Zeus, you who cherish famously Italy, and ruler the welcoming valley lands of Elysium. O Bacchus, you who dwell in the Bacchus mother city, Thebes. Besides this many flows flowing streams, on land surrounded with the thief and that fierce dragon. Above the double mountain's peak, the torches flashing through the murky smoke, you see who Persian nymphs move on as they worship you by the Castilian stream, and from the ivory-covered slopes of Phoenician hills, from the green shores, so rich the vines, you come to us, visiting our kingdom ways, while deathless voices all cry out in honor of your name, evoke. You honor Thebes, our city. Above all others, you and your mother blasted by the lightning strike. And now, when all people here are captors of foul disease, on your healing feet you come. Across the moaning strait, or over the Pernician hill, you who led the dance among the fire-breathing stars, who guard the voices in the night, child-born of Zeus, O my lord, appear with your attendant deities, who dance in frenzy all night long. For you the Patreon like this.
Enter a messenger. All you here who live beside the home of Amphion and Cadmus, in human life there's no set place which I would praise or blame, that lucky and unlucky rise or fall by chance day after day, and how these things are fixed for men no one can prophesy. For Creon, in my view, was once a man we all looked up to, for he saved the state, this land of Cadmus, from its enemies. He took control and reigned as his sole king, and prospered with the birth of noble children. Now all is gone. For when a man has lost what gives him pleasure, I don't include him among the living. He's a breathing corpse. Pile up a massive fortune in your home, if that's what you want. Live like a king. If there's no pleasure in it, I'd not give to any man a vapor's shadow for it, not compared to human joy.
Have you come with news or some fresh trouble in our house of kings?
They're dead, and those alive bear the responsibility for those who've died.
Who did the killing? Who's lying dead? Tell us.
Haman has been killed. No stranger shed his blood.
At his father's hand, or did he kill himself?
By his own hand, angry at his father for the murder.
Tiresias, how your words have proven true.
That's how things stand. Consider what comes next.
I see Creon's wife, poor Eurydice. She's coming from the house, either by chance or else she's heard there's news about her son.
Enter Eurydice from the palace with some attendants. Citizens of Thebes, I heard you talking as I was walking out, going off to pray, to ask for help from Goddess Pallas. While I was unfastening the gate, I heard someone speaking of bad news about my family. I was terrified. I collapsed, fainting back into the arms of my attendants.
So tell the news again. I'll listen. I'm no stranger to misfortune. Dear lady, I'll speak of what I saw, omitting not one detail of the truth. Why should I ease your mind with a report which turns out later to be incorrect? The truth is always best. I went to the plain, accompanying your husband as his guide. Polyneices' corpse, still unlamented, was lying there, the greatest distance off, torn apart by dogs. We prayed to Pluto and Hecate, goddess of the road,
for their good will and to restrain their rage. We gave a corpse a ritual wash and burned what was left of it on fresh-cut branches. We piled up a high tomb of his native earth. Then we moved to the young girl's rocky cave, the hollow cavern of that bride of death. From far away one man heard a voice, coming from the chamber where we'd put her without a funeral. A piercing cry. We went to tell our master Creon, who, as he approached the place, heard the sound, an unintelligible scream of sorrow. He groaned and then spoke out these bitter words, "Has misery made me a prophet now? And am I traveling along a road that takes me to the worst of all disasters? I've just heard the voice of my own son. You servants, go ahead, get up there fast. Remove the stones piled in the entranceway, then stand beside the tomb and look in there to see if that was Haman's voice I heard, or if the gods have been deceiving me." Following what was our desperate master asked, we looked. In the furthest corner of the tomb we saw Antigone, hanging by the neck, held up in a noose, fine woven linen. Haman had his arms around her waist. He was embracing her and crying out in sorrow for the loss of his own bride, now among the dead, his father's work, and for his horrifying marriage bed. Creon saw him, let out a fearful groan, then went inside and called out anxiously, "You unhappy boy, what have you done? What are you thinking? Have you lost your mind? Come out, my child, I'm begging you, please come." But the boy just stared at him with his savage eyes, spat in his face, and without saying a word, drew his two-edged sword. Creon moved away, so the boy's blow failed to strike his father. Angry at himself, the ill-fated lad, right there and then, leaned into his own sword, driving half the blade between his ribs. While still conscious, he embraced the girl in his weak arms, and, as he breathed his last, he coughed up streams of blood on her fair cheek. Now he lies there, corpse on corpse. His marriage has been fulfilled in chambers of the dead. The unfortunate boy has shown all men how, of all the evils which affect mankind, the most disastrous one is thoughtlessness. Eurydice turns and slowly returns into the palace.
What do you make of that? The queen's gone back. She's left without a word, good or bad.
I'm surprised myself. It's about her son. She heard that terrible report. I hope she's gone because she doesn't think it right to mourn for him in public. In the home surrounded by her servants, she'll arrange a period of mourning for the house. She's discreet and has experience. She won't make mistakes.
I'm not sure of that. To me, her staying silent was extreme. It seems to point to something ominous, just like a vain excess of grief.
I'll go in. We'll find out if she's hiding something secret deep within her passionate heart. You're right, excessive silence can be dangerous. The messenger goes up the stairs into the palace. Enter Creon from the side, with attendants. Creon is holding the body of Haman.
Here comes the king in person, carrying in his arms, if it's right to speak of this, a clear reminder that this evil comes not from some stranger, but his own mistakes. I.e., mistakes made by my foolish mind, cruel mistakes that bring on death. You see us here, all in one family, the killer and the killed. Oh, the profanity of what I planned. Alas, my son, you died so young, a death before your time. You're dead, gone, not your own foolishness, but mine. Alas, it seems you've learned to see what's right, but far too late. I've learned it in my pain. Some god clutching a great weight struck my head, then hurled me onto pathways in the wilderness, throwing down and casting underfoot what brought me joy. So sad, the wretched agony of human life.
The messenger reappears from the palace. My lord, you come like one who stores up evil. What you hold in your arms and what you'll see before too long inside the house.
What's that? Is there something still more evil than all of this?
Your wife is dead. Blood mother of that corpse, slaughtered with a sword. Her wounds are very new, poor lady.
A gathering place for death. No sacrifice can bring this to an end. Why are you destroying me? You there, you bringer of this dreadful news, this agony. What are you saying now? You kill a man, then kill him once again? What are you saying, boy? What news? A slaughter heaped on slaughter? My wife, alas, she's dead?
Opening the palace doors, revealing the body of Eurydice. Look here! No longer is she hidden in the house.
Alas, how miserable I feel to look upon this second horror. What remains for me? What fate still God in store? I've just held my own son in my arms, and now I see right here in front of me another corpse. Alas, for this suffering mother. Alas, for my son.
Stabbed with a sharp sword at the altar, she let her darkening eyesight fail, once she had cried out in sorrow for the glorious fate of Megarius, who died some time ago, and then again for Haman, and then, with her last breath, she called out evil things against you, the killer of your sons.
My fear now makes me tremble. Why won't someone now strike out at me? Pierce my heart with a two-edged sword. How miserable am I! How full of misery and pain.
By this woman who lies dead, you stand charged with the deaths of both of your sons.
What about her? How did she die so violently?
She killed herself with her own hand as she stabbed her belly, once she heard her son's unhappy fate.
Alas for me, the guilt for all this of mine. It can never be removed from me or passed to any other mortal man. I, and I alone. I murdered you. I speak the truth. Servants, hurry and lead me off. Get me away from here now. What I am in life is nothing. What you advise is good, if good can come with all these evil things. When we face such things, the less we say, the better. Let that day come. Oh, let it come. The fairest of all destinies for me. The one which brings on my last day. Oh, let it come, so that I never see another dawn. That's something for the times ahead. Now we need to deal with what marks us here. What's yet to come is the concern of those who cast it as the Is that what I spoke of everything I long for? Pray for nothing. There's no release from those not from events whose destiny has set. Then take this foolish man away from here. I killed you, my son, without intending to. And you, as well, my wife. How useless am I now? I don't know where to look or find support. Everything I touch goes wrong, and on my head fate climbs up with its overwhelming load.
The attendants helped Creon move up the stairs into the house, taking Haman's body with them.
The most important part of true success is wisdom, not to act impiously towards the gods, for boast of arrogant men bring on great blows of punishment. So in old age, men can discover wisdom.
Antigone, a note on the translator. Ian Johnston is a retired, now research associate, at Vancouver Island University, Nanaimo, British Columbia, Canada. Aeschylus, Orliesta, Aristophanes, bird, Aristophanes, cloud, Aristophanes, frogs, Aristophanes, night, Aristophanes, Lysistrata, Aristophanes, peace, Cuvier, discourse on revolutionary upheavals on the surface of the earth, Descartes, discourse on method, Euripides, Bacchae, Euripides, Medea, Euripides, Orestes, Homer, Iliad, complete and abridged, Homer, Odyssey, complete and abridged, Kant, Universal Natural History on Theories of the Heavens, Kant, on Perpetual Peace, Lucretius, The Nature of Things, Nietzsche, Beyond Good and Evil, Nietzsche, Birth of Tragedy, Nietzsche, Genealogy of Morals, Nietzsche, Uses and Abuses of History, Sophocles, Ajax, Sophocles, Antigone, Sophocles, Oedipus the King, Sophocles, Philoctetes.
A number of these translations are published by Richard Resources Publication, and some of these titles are available as recordings from Knox's audiobooks. Ian Johnston maintains a website at the following addresses: records.knox.org, johnstoi/index.htm. For comments and questions, please contact Ian Johnston at ian.johnston@viu.ca.